Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. We're talking about Star Trek Picard, episode 2 of season 2, entitled Penance. What a great episode this was. It continued right off from where our first episode had left off. We got to see Q at the start. We got to see this bizarre totalitarian alternate timeline that their reality has been changed into. We've got all of our characters trying to play their various roles in this new universe. It really feels like Star Trek Picard has hit its stride now. I think season 1 was good, but there was a few little missteps along the way. Season 2, this is now feeling like Star Trek proper, and I'm loving every minute of it. We're going to go through this latest episode of Picard and talk about all the different bits and pieces that we saw in it, all the little in-jokes and references and hidden Easter eggs and whatnot that were referred to throughout the course of the episode, and break them down as we do. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Fanatics yet, please go ahead, click that big red button to stay up to date. All the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. So much stuff going on at the moment. We just had a Strange New Worlds trailer release. You can click on that if you want to check that out. And we've got Discovery tomorrow, or I'm doing my review for Discovery tomorrow. There's so much going on, so be sure to subscribe. When we first see Picard and Q at the start of this episode, it's the typical sparring between these two. I love every second of it. It just, going all the way back to Encounter at Farpoint, you know, it's that sparring between Q and Picard and them just going at it with each other. It, to me, holds a bit of a special place in my heart, because Encounter at Farpoint for me was the catalyst that really got me into Star Trek in a big way. And it's lovely to see our characters here go back to explore some of that dynamic that we got all the way back in 1987. And even though our Q is kind of the same Q, I think there's a certain instability about him. You know, he's slapping Picard in the face, giving him a blood nose. We've got him really raising his voice to Picard. And this is a little bit of a different Q than we've seen before. Q normally just sort of, taunts Picard and is good with the verbal retorts and quips and stuff. But we've never seen Q really get super angry and use physical violence. So Q, he normally just sort of sits back and gloats and, and insults and so forth. So there's a bit of instability there from Q. And before long, we get a good sense of this bizarre world that our universe has been transposed into, thanks to Q going back and messing with the timeline. And we've got Romulan slaves working out of the vineyard. We've got Picard's war memorabilia room, where he's got like the severed skulls of Gul Dukat from Deep Space Nine that he's killed and put his head on a pike in his office. We've got the head of General Martok, which we also remember from Deep Space Nine, when he has exterminated the entire Klingon homeworld with some sort of virus. We've got the head of Sarek, which was Spock's father, which obviously he's killed him as well. It seems like Picard's been going through and just wiping out all of the different races throughout the Alpha Quadrant and putting their leaders' heads on pikes in his own office. So it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark from Picard. And it's no longer the Federation, it's the Confederation of Earth. So there's a certain vibe here, I think, that's sort of like, it seems like the Federation has been turned into something like a cross between the Nazis and the Empire from Star Wars. They were all wearing very grey, imperial uniforms and stuff, and they were all very humans-only kind of club. And that's sort of like what we're turned into now. It's the humans-only club, kill everybody else, which was a little bit in terms of what the Terran Empire was. And I was sort of thinking, this is sort of seeming a little bit along the lines of the Terran Empire. So I guess they couldn't make it the Terran Empire because that is an alternate universe, whereas the Confederation of Earth is the same universe, just skewed off on a different tangent from a change in the timeline. So yeah, it was kind of cool to hear Q go through all of these leaders of various different empires that have been wiped out by the Confederation of Earth at the hands of Picard. Not to mention some Cardassian armour, along with what appears to be some Hirogen armour from Voyager. We've also got a number of disruptors and phasers in the background here from both Klingon and Romulan, as well as Zhat Vash disruptors and daggers as well. And as we go to Earth to see a bit more about what's going on with the Confederation of Earth, we find out that Seven, aka Annika Hansen, is the president. So poor, lucky that when she woke up in this different reality, that she was the leader of the Confederation, because that kind of opened a few doors, I think, in order to get our heroes where they needed to be. And I think if they weren't in such high positions, they might have had a bit more trouble in exacting their mission. It was fun to see Seven go through all the various checks and balances to try to work out what's going on with her mental faculties as she wakes up with a wedding ring and no Borg implants anymore. And then we find out she's got a husband who is another very officious leader of the Confederation. Although how cool would it have been if this person had have turned out to be Chakotay, seeing as how he had a very brief relationship with Seven on Voyager. I think he would have been good in this part. And that the day that they are in at the present is the Eradication Day, where they're going off and killing different alien races all over Earth in some sort of celebration. At the same time, they're fighting a Vulcan war above Vulcan, which is where we see Rios. He's on the La Sirena. He's involved in some massive battle over Vulcan, where we've got Vulcan ships firing on them and big skirmish going on there to eradicate all Vulcans. And going by Annika's war briefing here on her desk, we can see they plan to use a Metreon cascade to wipe out the Vulcans, which is the same as the one that Nilix spoke about in the Voyager episodes Jetrel, Friendship 1 and Homestead, about a race of Hakonians that launched this weapon of mass destruction. Meanwhile, we've got Elnor as a dissident in Okinawa as part of some terrorist cell taking out buildings, and there's buildings getting blown up all over the place in homage to all the different races that have been killed by the Confederation of Earth. And then luckily, obviously, Raffi saves Elnor from a firing squad that was about to kind of take him out. And they managed to escape. It's very lucky for our heroes and somewhat convenient that they all woke up in bodies of very high-ranking and authoritarian members of this Confederation of Earth. It was quite fun to hear when Seven's husband was talking about getting a briefing on the war that he was going to call General Sisko for Seven to have a chat with. And you go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to Colonel Rios. And it's like, oh, it would have been nice to see Sisko in there, even if it was just for a little cameo on the view screen or something. So I got my hopes up there for a second that Avery Brooks might have popped up on screen with some war briefing before we got to Rios, but Salavi. Meanwhile, we've got Jurati in some science lab. I love Jurati's character. I love the way she kind of gets nervous and flustered and talks a lot and everything. She's obviously got the talking cat, which was voiced by Patton Oswalt, a very funny comic actor who's been in heaps of stuff. Yeah, he did the voice for Spot 73. Obviously Spot named after Data's cat. And it would appear that today on Eradication Day, one of the ceremonies they're going to have is the termination of the Borg Queen in some sort of show of strength that they've wiped out the Borg, and the only Borg that's left is a Borg Queen that they've held captive, which they've been saving to execute on Eradication Day. But we soon find out that the Borg Queen has got this sixth sense when it comes to changes in the timeline. It was fun to hear her talking to Seven, to talk to her about how, tertiary adjunct to Unimatrix, and basically her original Borg name. That was kind of cool, and that she's very clued into to what the changes in the timeline are. Which makes it pretty clear that they're going to need this Borg Queen if they want to get where they need to go, which is back in time to fix the timeline. I love some of the scenes here between not only Seven and the Borg Queen, but also Picard and the Borg Queen. Obviously, Picard and Seven have got such a huge history when it comes to the Borg, and have got that sort of underlying resentment and animosity because of what was done to them. And now that this Borg Queen is kind of cut off from the rest of the collective and she's just by herself, they're really, I think, enjoying the fact that they can, rub it in her face a little bit. They've been defeated, but at the same time, they need her to get back in time to do what they have to do to remedy or to repair the timeline. Now, the Borg Queen's kind of scanned her temporal node or whatever it is and worked out that our heroes have to contact a watcher in LA in the year 2024. So the question is, who are these watchers, or who's a watcher? Are they these white-eyed people we've seen in various trailers, or is this somebody with, a little bit more I don't know, temporal awareness, such as someone like Guinan, for example. So I feel like this alliance with the Borg Queen is going to be very interesting dynamic this season, because just of the history that Picard's got with the Borg, the history Seven's got with the Borg, and they kind of need her, but I kind of get a sense that like there's going to be a price to pay here with using this Borg Queen to get where they need to go. I think they've made a little bit of a deal with the devil, so to speak, which will be interesting to see how that plays out in future episodes. And just when we thought our heroes were going to escape in the last arena, there's a massive lockdown. The transporter signal got scrambled, communications got scrambled, and it was a bit tense there. There was a good amount of time where I think, this is not going the direction we thought it was going to go. And then they managed to finally get up to La Sirena, only to be boarded by security officers at the same time. And poor old Elnor gets shot. I'm not sure whether that is going to be a life-threatening injury, or that's something that Elnor can recover from, because I think he might have taken the shot sort of a little bit more towards the shoulder. So hopefully Jurati can patch him up. And just when we thought they were home free, it all went terribly wrong. And what a cliffhanger moment for it to end on. It's like, oh, no, I want the next episode now. Come on. Like, it's like, it's we're only the second episode in, and I'm hooked. This is great. This is a great start to the season, and I'm really loving what's going on here in Picard. It's feeling good. It's feeling good. It's sort of it's like finally I think new Star Trek is feeling like proper Star Trek. I think not that it wasn't last season, but I think this season it's got into its groove a bit more so even. So I'm really enjoying it. Guys, if you're liking the Galaxy projector I've got in the background here, it's really cool. If you want a Starfield and a Nebula on your office wall, check out the link in my description and you can pick up a Galaxy projector for 10% off. It's a really cool product. I love it as part of my background. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this episode. It's episode 2 of Star Trek Picard, season 2. Let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. Did you love it? Did you, tell me what bits you liked most about it? Leave a super thanks if you're able to. It really helps the channel out. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also check out my merch in the merch store. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, that sort of thing. Lots of new designs. Always worth checking out. And I'll catch you guys very soon for my next video. I'll see you soon.